What is going on, YouTube? Pass the Prop is back. It's NBA slate today, 14 games. Not much more you can ask for on a slate like this. So, joined as always by my guy, Stu. What is good, my man?
Nothing much. Just currently trying to get all my tweets out right now. Had to watch a nice 30-second Domino's ad. That's always fun right there. But I am pumped to be here. Like you mentioned, killer slate today. Had a little bit of a forced day off yesterday with obviously no NBA action. I know some people were I know you had some obscure college basketball plays, as you always do, that randomly win. So shout out to you for whatever those end up being for the rest of the season. I'm sure I'm going to hear about some college I've legitimately never heard of as the next wagon in the next couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. All jokes aside, you do win on these bets. So I do like tailing these schools that I've legitimately never heard of. But we're back to the real teams today, baby. We got the big stars, the guys that take days off, big money, don't play defense, but that's okay. I'm super pumped for today's action. Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, no, yesterday it was a little different. I had Iowa, so,
okay.
So we roll with that. Iowa first half overs are just wagons, except for me. I pulled it again last night as well as our team total. And yeah, they've been wagons, and I'm going to continue going there because they just don't play a lick of defense. They just run and gun. So like the old school Rockets, not the new and improved Rockets that we have now there. So let's head through a recap here of some NFL. What was your thoughts on the Jets game against the Chargers? Obviously, talk about that.
I mean, that had to be like the most boring game of the season, right? Like that was, I mean, it sucked. I said the exact opposite. I said, oh, it's going to be so much fun. These two teams are shit shows. It's going to be interesting. And it just wasn't. It was just really boring. Yeah, it was a slow game. The Jets really never got anything together on offense. It's one of those things like, it's what I said earlier in the season, and that I'm being proven to be correct already, is that them having that good performance against the Chiefs in primetime was the worst thing to happen to them all season. Because instead of having Trevor Siemian in over these last couple games, we still got the Zach Wilson experience. And as you can tell, it's not working out too well. So the defense is stellar. They continue to crush. The Chargers could have destroyed them in that game, but they didn't. The defense still held up pretty well. So shout out to those guys. Chargers have a lot of issues. This is not a Super Bowl contending team. Unfortunate for my 20-1 tickets. Obviously, those are pretty much all ripped up at this point. But yeah, just a pretty boring, unimpressive game overall. But hey, they're trying to one-up it tomorrow with Panthers-Bears. So it might get worse. Maybe I shouldn't complain yet.
Yeah, no, just looking at that game too. Herbert didn't do anything in that game. Shout out to Herbert though for 50% of his completions heading to Keenan Allen, which we'd love to see. I'll just lead us right into our recap here. We did get a sweep there of the show. Allen 6 catches. I got maybe nervous after they got that special teams touchdown early on. I'm like, oh, what are they going to do? Herbert was under pressure a lot. Only threw the ball 26 times. So that was obviously concerning as well. Eckler looked like shit on the ground. So, yeah, just a really crappy game. I turned it off after the first quarter and just game log checked in the third and game log checked in the fourth, and we were good to go.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same thing. I'm not gonna lie, and I rarely even do that. I'm in for it most of the time, but I was game log watching right here. But yeah, I cashed on Brees as well. I love that 40 rushing, 6 catches right there. It was good to get that done. And then yeah, I had Brees Hall 2 receptions and obviously 3 receptions, and then the Jets team total under 27.5. That was clearly not much of a worry in that matchup. And yeah, Brees Hall got that done in the first half, almost the first quarter, actually. Very easy, very convenient. That's how you can turn it off, right? For me, it's like, oh, I won my bet. I definitely don't need to watch this anymore. I do feel bad for all of our ladder guys out there. They took him out for that last drive, and Michael Carter had back-to-back catches. I'm sure somebody was just staring at, their $1,000 ticket right there crying. So feel bad for all you guys out there poured one out. I felt your pain. I had the 4 and 5 catches as well. So hopefully we keep on going on. I love this play right here, and I'm excited for Friday. We got NFL already.
Yeah, Terrence saying he was at the game there. It was awful. Crowd was turning quick. Yeah, it was just tough because that defense is top 5 defense in pretty much every category you look at, and it's tough to see. But yeah, so just wanted to mention your long shot there as well. Sorry guys, we got it around this November, December time when I'm starting to get there's 2 days ago was 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Or snow a week before that. Like, this is when I get messed up. I don't get sick, but like today it's like 46 and rainy. So it's like my system doesn't know what to do right now. So I'm like in this weird middle spot where it's like I get a scratchy voice. It's just like, dude, just make up your mind, Wisconsin, man. If we're gonna go cold, just send it so I can get my winter stuff out and we're good. But then you just give me that 60s and now it's like, damn, dude, I'm all over the place.
Why did you want to bring this up then? It sounded like you were saying something. We lost.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No. I had to talk about our long shots in that game just so I could also talk about my hate for Zach Wilson even more.
Okay. I thought you were coming to roast me right here.
No. I just couldn't finish my sentence.
I was just confused. I'm like, what did I do wrong right here? But yeah, no, Parham did not end up in the end zone, obviously, at that one.
Yeah. Just to add more fuel to my Zach Wilson hate, Keenan Allen was leading this up until about 2 minutes left in the game, and they continued to just feed Garrett Wilson, and when I didn't even think he was going to be in the game. So that was unfortunate for us. That would have been a nice plus 500 spot there. But hey, we'll take the sweep of our straight plays, and we'll head right into some NBA. So, yeah, dude, 5 yards. It was a 5-yard difference. And it was all on that last little drive, too. That last little thing that, like, there's a minute 50 left. I'm like, why are you playing these guys? Like, you guys already know what injuries do with, obviously, the Rodgers stuff and all that. But really surprised that they left Garrett Wilson out there in that position. Like, dude, you're down 2 scores with a minute left, and you're chucking it to him. It's frustration.
Yeah, imagine if he gets injured on that 6-yard catch. Like, what's the narrative after the game? Especially when, once again, they took out Breece Hall. Like, it wasn't just like all the starters played. Michael Carter was in there, and he hadn't played before that. So, tough beat right there. But, hey, we'll be back on Friday with some more long shots. And, hey, today for NBA as well.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's talk about this NBA slate. Obviously, 14 games on the docket. What is the big screen game for you? We got some 240 totals. We got some actual good basketball games. We're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it's a tough battle. What gets the big screen TV? Is it going to be the flashy offensive game, or is it going to be the actually good basketball game? I think it's going to be the good basketball game today. I think Sixers and Celtics is getting my TV. I'm going to have some bets on it. I already know it's going to be probably the most bet on game today. And yeah, just I want to see how this new look Celtics team handles it. Obviously, Embiid and the Sixers look good so far. There were some concerns coming in, both one-loss teams at the moment right here. I believe 2.5-point spread. Should be a very fun game. My guy Porzingis over there with the Celtics. Now excited to see how this kind of new look Celtics team handles Embiid versus the old Horford Embiid matchups we saw over the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, that's obviously one of the better games there. I mean, your Wizards probably involved in the best fun game of the night. 240 total. You're also seeing a 243 on the Pacers. That is an absolutely crazy total there against the Jazz. So they've been playing elite offense. Tyrese Halliburton looking fantastic. I think he's like, what? I think I saw that it was 19 plus potential assists per game right now. Like, that's higher than Chris Paul by like 2. That's the second closest. Like, this dude is cooking. Obviously, I got burned on him last game because they just beat the brakes off of I don't even remember who they played, but it was what? They had 150 points in Halliburton didn't even have to play the fourth quarter. So it's been impressive. Indiana looks legit right now. They're playing good basketball.
They did, yeah. I mean, the only problem is they're like a deep roster, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose. Like, I was looking really hard at Mathurin today. I think, obviously, you mentioned the pace. This game sets up great for long shots. It's just kind of like, is it going to be Buddy Hield off the bench? Is it going to be Mathurin now in the lineup? Like, they've got so many young options around this team that can step up that it's kind of hard to. Even Nembhard, as the backup point guard, has had some good games. But, like, are you going to bet on a backup point guard with Halliburton, putting 80 fantasy points a game up? I don't know. It's an interesting one. If people have long shots in that game, I'm curious to hear them because I think I'm going to end up with probably Mathurin at least 20 plus. I think that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and the thing is with them, it's like Miles Turner, Tyrese Halliburton, and then a bunch of guys playing 24 to 26 minutes, right? There's nobody getting that huge run out there. I mean, dude, one of my old school DFS boys that I loved rolling with, Jalen Smith, He's sitting right behind Miles Turner. I'm like, Miles Turner, get some foul trouble. Let me play some Jalen Smith today, baby. I would love to watch that. Give me 20 minutes of Jalen Smith. That man's getting 4 blocks, probably like 5 dunks.
Oh yeah. They've got the kings of like foul trouble backup bigs over there. It's been like that. It was Smith, and then they had Goga, who's now gone, who loved to foul, and then Isaiah Jackson as well last year. They absolutely love getting guys that can come in and get 4 blocks and 4 fouls instantly. Very funny combination, and good for DFS as well.
Yeah, I wanted to play Jalen Smith in some capacity this year. This might be that game. This might be that game that I just try and guess where he's going to start doing some blocks, because blocks are, for him, just pretty – I mean, they happen pretty so often there. Let's talk about a little bit of the news. Obviously, Zion Williamson personal is out. We also have no CJ McCollum with the collapsed lung. Really – can't really talk props in this game. Obviously, this game is just absolutely destroyed now. But is there something you're looking at in this game? Or are you looking at just maybe just completely fading New Orleans? And I mean, it's 10-point favorites now to Timberwolves. It's a lot of open spots here that I don't know where we should go, especially with all this news, you know?
Yeah, there's one name that I have been waiting for in that game. It's not going to be a name I think a lot of people are waiting for. I want Matt Ryan numbers, not the NFL quarterback, the little white guy sharpshooter in the corner. I know there's a lot of those guys, so that's why it's a little bit confusing. He had a game winner for the Lakers like last season and then was cut. That's what his probably most notable moment in his career. But what I'm really looking for is scoring, because when you look at this matchup, it's already a bad matchup, right? Really low total, no CJ McCollum. How are we going to put 100 points together as a team here? I really don't know, because you do have Brandon Ingram. He's your most obvious leader. He has one of the toughest matchups in the league with McDaniel. That's not just like that's a little bit of, that's like an elite defender that you have to face, along with Gobert, rim protection as well. It's just a recipe for disaster. Now you throw in no Zion Williamson. Hawkins has been lighting up the fantasy dashboard. He's been killer recently, but you guys got to remember, he doesn't create his own shots. You need self-creation at a certain level. And while he's a rookie, he's going to get better at that. He's a pure bucket right now. Who's going to feed him these assists? I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't think Hawkins, I got 14.5 on FanDuel, luckily right when Zion was ruled out, and they kept that number up for like 10 minutes too long or something. But at like 17.5, which I saw in MGM, I don't really see any value for a guy that's not self-creating. I'd rather just run that threes ladder if you want to do anything right there. So for me personally, I'm waiting for Matt Ryan numbers, preferably the threes. That's what I'm going to look for. And then Dyson Daniels, while he's not a scorer, somebody's got to play make, right? And it's got to be him, I think. So Dyson Daniels assists ladder, and then Matt Ryan threes ladder are my initial thoughts. I know that's not what people maybe want to hear, but those are the value spots I'm looking at.
Yeah, my long shot portion, one of my long shots will be in this game. And it will not be one that I don't think anybody's going to guess who I'm going to. So little teaser for you guys that I don't think anybody's going to be guessing who the hell I'm rolling with in that game. But let's get it started. We got 25 of you guys in here live. If you could hit that like button, we'd really appreciate it. Let's take a look at the chat. So many long shot spots, but you know Terrence wants to get those long shots going out there. We got Plus Money Bob in here. Happy to see you in here as well, my man Steve. Hope all is going well. Stu, you want to get right into it?
Let's do it. Sounds good. We'll start off with my guy, Jordan Poole. As you guys know, big Wizards fan over here. I think I made more bets on and against the Wizards than any other person in the gambling space over the last couple seasons. I don't know if that's a badge of honor or a mark of disgrace, but my bank account is thankful either way. So we're going to keep on doing what we're doing, and we're going to target Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers in this game. He started the season hot over this number in 3 straight games, and then he went on a little downturn where he didn't cover this number over these last couple of games. But what's notable to me about that stretch was those were all very rough matchups, including a couple of really slow-paced matchups where the ball just wasn't in his hands as much. If you watch those games, which, like I said, I unfortunately did, we saw a lot of Kyle Kuzma playmaking. We saw him taking over. It's the path of least resistance, right? You want to take advantage of the weak spots on a defense. This is the perfect bounce back. I don't think you can ladder turnovers anywhere but Bet365. If you can on 365, I don't think you can. But if you can, Please, somebody give me a ladder for this. Oh my God, you already mentioned it earlier. 240 total, 2 run and gun teams. Look at the guards on that other team. I know Terry's out, but LaMelo Ball is, the spearhead of your defense. LaMelo and Poole going back and forth on transition. This game's going to be an absolute mess. I expect both starting guards on both teams to be over 5 turnovers in this game. I almost ran back LaMelo as well, and I don't hate that for, a little same game parlay kind of thing right there. But it's simply about the pace and the opportunity. When it was there in those first couple games, we saw it. And then obviously Washington got creamed. But hey, we have a 4-point spread. This is finally a winnable game. You're going against a weakened bad team already. So if you can't keep these guys from blowing you out, you're probably going to be banned for most of the season. I'm already going to be a lot more skeptical on Wizards props so far this season. As you've seen, the blowouts have been brutal. We're going to find creative ways to take advantage of them, as we always do, but we need time to sink in for a little bit first. But right now, we have a close game. We have 2 top 4 pace teams. I believe Washington is still number 1 in pace in the NBA right now. We're going to be running in this game. There's going to be a ton of transition. There's going to be a ton of opportunities. And I just think 2.5 turnovers is too low. I expected this to be like minus 145. I couldn't believe we were getting a reasonable number in this game. So definitely going to take advantage. Right back to Jordan Poole right here.
I love it. And I'll just get into mine since we're in the same game, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. I'm going to go PJ Washington, points, rebounds. Fan of the show. This boy is a fan of the show. He knows when his name gets put on here, he's got to show out for the boys. I think I hit a couple long shots with him last year on threes as well. So I want to roll with him today. Obviously, no Terry Rozier. Obviously, that's pretty important. But even if you want to go to games with Terry Rozier in there, this dude is getting volume, right? At least 13 shot attempts in every single game, right? You go into last game against the Mavericks, right? He had 15 shot attempts. But what I really like is he's been efficient, man. Over 50% shooting. And I think he finally learned, I'm big and I can do what I want because I'm athletic and I can drive on you. I'm not seeing him shoot the ball 8 times from 3, right? That's definitely in his bag. But you start off the year in the first 3 games, he goes 1 for 6, 1 for 5, 1 for 3 from 3, right? And over these last 2 games, he's got 5 attempts from the 3-point line in 2 games, but 15 and 20 points. In the game before that, 23 points, right? The 3-point line is not as important to him this year, which I think is really smart. They finally figured that out. Obviously, you have Brandon Miller out there as well. You kick it out to him. But I just love the athleticism we're seeing from him. I do like that we're probably going to see Kyle Kuzma there as well. You look over on the other side, too. Gafford going to be bodying up with Mark Williams. That's going to be hard enough in itself. That's going to take up all your responsibilities there because you know what Mark Williams is there to do. Get that offensive board, slam it back. So help has to be a little bit more considerate on staying back there. So I really like PJ Washington. I looked at his rebounding numbers. Haven't been great as of late, right? He only got 4, 3, and 3. But you got Kuzma grabbing rebounds at about 7.3 rebounding chances. We look at Washington at 8 rebounding chances per game, but they're both around 5 feet for average distance. So if we're going to be sitting in that range, those 2 big boys going to be fighting down there. This is going to be a path of least resistance that we were talking about there. Those guys are not going to have to fight in with those big boys, right? Long rebounds. I expect a ton of threes put up in this game, whether it be from Charlotte or from the Washington side, at least 15 from Jordan Poole from 3 probably today. So long rebounds, heading out to the other guys, finding a way to get away from the Gafford and Williams of the world down low. So sign me up here. I really like PJ Washington in this pace, and I think he can get 20 points on his own. Might be a sprinkle for a long shot as well.
Yeah, I really like this spot right here. I think you nailed it. I mean, PJ's been good for us in the past. He's shown that he has those spike rebounding weeks and those spike scoring weeks, which is really what we emphasize a lot in the show. You want, the blow up potential in both categories. Otherwise, there's no real point in combining those bets right there. So when you look at it, Washington, you already mentioned, awful rebounding team. The rebounding distance is going to be there with Kuzma. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of help side defense. It's very unorganized defense on both teams, right? Which just spurs more rebound opportunities and it spurs more possessions. And I think if there's one thing we have in this game, it's extra possessions. There's going to be a lot of running on both sides. So I like PJ a lot. Like you said, watching his game develop has been fun over the last couple of years. He just stood in the corner for the first 2 years for no apparent reason. Dude, you're 6'10", you're buff, like you're fast. Like, what are we doing? Why are we playing like Kevin Love out here? And like you said, he finally figured it out a little bit. And also, if he was shooting like Kevin Love, that would be one thing. But he was shooting like 33%. So go fucking drive. And he's finally getting it done. And yeah, you mentioned it. Muscala, Gafford, Kuzma. These are the names you're driving into in the paint. Not too scary right here.
Yeah, and just one other thing. They've had 3 matchups of fast-paced teams, right? So far this year. Atlanta, he went for 25-5. Against Houston, he went for 23-3. Then obviously in the Indiana game, he only had 15-3. But in that game, we see some spike performances in that one from guys shooting the lights out in there. That was Tyrese Halliburton with 43. That was Mark Williams with 27 in that game. I know everybody remembers that one because you don't expect to see that too often there. So, like I said, Mark had that big game there. We had 23 from Gordon Hayward shooting like that. Terry Rozier was still playing in that game. So, like I said, a lot of extra shots to go around. And we've seen it in 2 of the pace-up games, just absolutely crushing this number. So I'm excited to roll back with PJ Washington, fan of the show.
Oh yeah. He had that double long shot cash. I believe over I don't remember what the odds were, but it was obviously very nice right there. Oh, breaking news in the chat. Kevin Knox is back, baby. Oh my God. Can we bet on him anywhere? Are those ladders up?
Dude, I'm telling you, if you're going to pick a game for Kevin Knox to just go berserk, it's going to be the entire fourth quarter against Marjon Beauchamp guarding him. And you're going to be seeing all of the scrubs. You're going to see Thanasis coming out there guarding him. Guess what? We're going to be shooting threes. If he's going to be in that second unit, he's going to be in that blowout crew. Tonight's going to be the blowout crew day. So just a heads up. Sign me up for some Kevin Knox, baby. I don't know. I didn't even know he was fully healthy yet. So breaking news for me.
Was he unhealthy or was he just out for being trash? I couldn't tell.
No, I think he was actually hurt. Hey, he got a double-double at the end of last year, bro.
Little trash can emoji next to it. I couldn't see if it was an injury designation or they were just like, listen, this guy should not
be. All I'm saying is the end of last year, Kevin Knox was in optimal winning lineups in DFS. Three out of the last 5 games.
Oh,
yes, he was.
The last 5 games.
3 of the last 5 games when no one else gives a shit. Guess what? Kevin Knox gets that double-double. Kevin Knox starts sniping. Guess what? No one gives a bit of shit about the game tonight. You know why? Because it's like a 14-point spread. They're going to get absolutely blown out. So guess what? These are the type of games he shows out for. Right? These are the ones. Give me that 5 3-pointer ladder, baby. Sign me up.
Yeah, I feel bad for all the people that have no clue what we're talking about, too, that have never watched this show before and don't know that PPS loves Kevin Knox. I know you're like, whoa, this is a new show. I don't know these guys. Everyone has their favorite players, LeBron.
I don't actually like him, but he was.
You seem to talk about fucking Kevin Knox a lot on here, and I don't think anyone wants to hear it. Although DM Punk obviously does. He's fired up as well. So,
dude, all I'm saying is I was so mad because I took double-double the game before he actually got one, and it was like 19-1, and I'm like, fuck this guy. Because I was so in on here, hyping him up so hard. Next game comes out and grabs like 21-11 on because that was when he was with Portland. Woo, baby. It might be that day. Let's take a look at a couple of these comments in here that might actually make you guys some money and not just talk about my boy there. Good matchup for Warriors versus Warriors that lack size to defend Jokic. So he should get 3 assists off Jokic alone. Okay, let me read the top part. KCP, 2.5 assists, 7 potential assists. Last game, it doesn't work. Yeah, dude. For potential assists, I usually expect 50%, 45 to 50% on a good day. I don't know how much I want to bet him. I've been betting Aaron Gordon when Jamal Murray sits. I love betting Aaron Gordon in these games, but I'm not. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you the last time I bet on KCP.
I don't hate the plus money, to be honest. I think I bet on KCP assists like once or twice at the end of last year for the same reason you are right here. So 7 potential is a good number. I'm glad you mentioned, though, that obviously the hit rate was pretty insane and that's not, going to happen again. But like you said, those little 2-man game buckets, those little dribble handoffs, which is so funny, by the way, that it's KCP doing that. The way this offense works is so funny, but there should be good opportunities in this one at plus 136. I definitely don't hate those odds whatsoever. I think that's a very solid price right there, but you kind of mentioned this isn't like a playmaker. You know what I mean? It's not like a common bet. So if he had 0 assists at the end of this game, I would not be surprised whatsoever. That's why I'd only play it at, the nice, plus money kind of looks.
And that's the exact reason why I would say we got 14 NBA games, guys, right? I can find a plus 130 that I probably know the guy is going to have an opportunity to get there, right? This could smash in the first quarter, but do you really want to be sitting there in the fourth quarter and he's got one potential assist and it was a miss? And you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot better guys to watch on those, just that's just me. But that's kind of how I want to roll with it. Last 5 games without Murray cleared 5+, then roll with it, man. I just know that I have been infuriated by people when I bet on them and it's like an obscure bet and it's like, oh, I need him to do what? Three blocks or whatever. And there's just no opportunities for him to happen. Or every time there was, it's either a kick out or an extra pass, right? We don't have the hockey assists in basketball. And there's always that, you know what I mean? It's just so annoying on those. So,
well, I think a simple way to say it is just betting on guys playing outside of their role is frustrating to us as the people that we try so hard to put people in boxes essentially and bet on them for that reason. And guys that like a guy like KCP that isn't a playmaker, that you would never think of him when you describe him as a passer, it becomes harder. But like I said before, that's why I like playing them at these plus money spots. For me, I would look at the 3, the 4, the 5, rather than I know someone's going to have -1.5 at -170, or whatever. And parlay, that was something. When you have those kind of high variance plays, I always just like the plus money and just taking the chance with the laddering potential right there.
Beautiful. I do not think we have anything else in the chat. Let's get to plays 3 and 4 here, Stu. Take us away, my friend.
Boom. Former DC legend right here, Kristaps Porzingis, over 1.5 threes, -115 over on DraftKings. Nice price and market considering -136 over on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. And obviously, Caesars -120, MGM, all that stuff right there. I love this. I gave this prop out against Embiid last year on the show when he was on the Wizards and we cashed it. And then I also gave out Al Horford against Embiid last year on the Celtics on the show and it cashed. So right here is a little bit of a marriage of 2 former winners right here. And it's pretty simple. No one really wants to mess around in the paint with Joel Embiid. That's not a plan any center goes into a game thinking, you know what, I'm just going to bully him down there. Kristaps Porzingis can't bully like a 6'4" Bruce Brown kind of player. So there's no hope. And obviously we know this. We know what kind of player Porzingis is, being a little dramatic right here. But the goal of his role in this offense is going to be to stretch the floor. And it's going to be to take Embiid out of the paint. It's going to be take whatever, paint defenders they have in that one and stretch the floor. And when you have so many amazing weapons on this team, it becomes really hard to contest Kristaps Porzingis frequently, especially when you can't contest him in the traditional way that you can contest these knockdown shooters because he's 7 foot dudes. You can't just throw up a hand. That's not doing anything. So for me, I was looking at points and I was looking at threes right here. I know points does have a better hit rate so far on the season, but the reason is kind of what I just said a second ago of it's still the rest of the teammates he's got on this team. The usage isn't going to be there. He's getting there on good efficiency. But for me, as a guy that's watched him be efficient from 3 and still end up in that kind of 14, 15 range over these last couple seasons, especially last year when he was playing very well in a higher usage role, I just think the threes is the better look right here, especially when you actually have to pay a little bit of juice on the points on a lot of these books. It's like -130, -125. So for me, obviously, we know the shot quality is going to be good. It's going to continue to be good. Schematically, it makes a lot of sense against this Philly team. You want to stretch the floor as much as possible. You want to displace Joel Embiid, make him uncomfortable whenever convenient. That's what the opposing center's job is in this matchup right here. So I'm excited. Porzingis, I have him at about 4 to 5 3-point opportunities. I think he should go over this number. I'm going to be playing 3 as well. They always put his 3 threes at plus 220. Always a good look right there. It's never flashy. The volume is never insane, so it is harder to climb the ladder with him, but he always sticks in that kind of 2-3 range. So definitely love Porzingis tonight.
Yeah, no problem with that. I like that better too as well, especially when you have such high usage guys with you, right? Much high usage guys.
It's 16 and a half, 17 and a half points. It's not like nothing. You know what I mean? It's not like and if he gets there, do you really see that happening without the 3-point production in this specific matchup against this team? I don't know. I don't think so. So I'm glad you brought that up, though. Definitely like the spot.
Yeah, talking about a high usage guy. Let's talk about Malcolm Brogdon, baby. I love Malcolm Brogdon here tonight. In the late night hammer, too. Like, what else could you ask for? I mean, what else would you want besides a guy playing almost 40 minutes a game now with no Scoot? Without him in the last 2 games, there are 2 guys in the NBA with more potential assists per game than Malcolm Brogdon. That is Nikola Jokic with only 1 game played in that same time frame. And Trae Young, right? Trae Young has 21 per game. Malcolm Brogdon's at 20 and a half. Just put that in perspective. Over the last 2 games, like I said, LaMelo Ball is 3rd at 18. That's almost 3 lower. You want to go down a little further than that? Kyrie's 5th at 16 and a half, right? It is a huge tier up when you move up to those top 3, and Brogdon's in there, right? You're seeing the minutes just fly through the roof. Scoot already labeled out for tonight already. And obviously there was the 44-minute game in there, but that was overtime. But still, 5-minute overtime. He's on pace for 39 and a half minutes a game in this spot, right? Him and Shaedon Sharpe do not come off the floor for more than a 2-minute stint, which I love. And they alternate them, which is perfect because Shaedon Sharpe can go get his. Malcolm Brogdon can get his as well. But all those potential assists only getting 21%, which is exactly in that 50% range that we're talking about. So it does have the ability to get higher. We should see an absolute barn burner type of game here, right? This total is up there along with those other ones that we talked about at the front of the show. At 222 here, I actually really like the over in that game. I think I'm going to be betting the over in that game just because Sacramento, I mean, we could see Malik Monk guarding these dudes, right? Davion Mitchell probably will guard in here, but I think Mitchell probably is going to go on Sharp a little bit too as well. So he's been more of the shooter there as well. But Brogdon can get there. I'm going to be rolling. Spoiler alert: double-double is going to be portion of my long shot today. But he's been there, man. It's like a plus 180 on that as well. Dude, I love Malcolm Brogdon tonight. He's been shooting a ton. 19 and a half shot attempts in the last 2 games is awesome because guess what? Malcolm Brogdon's a part of that special club, man. 40, 50, 90. This dude is there, right? 50, 40, 90, however you want to say it. But that's how efficient this guy is. Every single free throw attempt, you know he's out there. Technical foul, 3-second violation, you know he's the guy getting picked. The dude shoots 90+% from the line. Snipes from the 3-point line. Sacramento has been getting blown out lately, but I don't think Portland's the team to blow them out. And I don't think that they're going to get ran out of the gym here either. I think Ayton and Sabonis can go at it for a little while down low. And barring Malik Monk dropping a 40 piece, I don't see this Kings team really blowing anybody out without De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, no, I like the spot, obviously. High-paced matchup right here. Brogdon has been stellar. I mean, like I said before the season started, right, Portland was kind of one of my league pass teams. And I started the season, especially in those Scoot, first couple games watching, and then especially after, it became abundantly clear that when Simons went down, like Brogdon was like the one on this team. Like he needed to be, right? Because Scoot wasn't producing on the offensive side. And we obviously know what some of these young guys can do. Sharp is a bucket and he will continue to be a bucket, right? But they need the veteran leadership. Someone needs to like lead this team and get these guys together. I didn't know the potential assists were that good. So that was definitely a little eye-opening to me because like you said, there are tiers to it. It's very hard to get to that elite kind of level tier that he's at right now. So definitely love that spot. Good matchup. I agree with Joseph. I was hyping Aiden up before the show a little bit as well with, the good matchup history right there. So definitely like that in correlation with the assist prop in this one as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, like I said, Brogdon double-double will be a part of my long shot throw in. So that's a little spoiler alert. I do have another piece to go with that because man, only plus 180. And I mean, that's on the big books too, right? The books understand, right? That literally Malcolm Brogdon is that dude for these guys right now. Obviously, Shaedon Sharpe's out there. Shout out Shaedon Sharpe, man. That dude is grabbing boards too, man. He has been fantastic. I've been grabbing points, rebounds quite a bit. He's been a beast. And definitely something I want to continue to look at here going forward here. So, Stu, let's get into our recap, and we will get to our long shots. I know everybody wants to get those in for today.
Sounds good. Started out in the District of Columbia. Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers, -105. I saw someone ask where you can bet this earlier. DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesars all should have the turnover props. You just have to scroll in the little prop ticker very far down to the edge where all the markets that nobody cares about are. And that's where you find this right there. And then we got Porzingis, the unicorn, over 1.5 threes. -115, still out on DraftKings Sportsbook right now against Embiid.
Beautiful. I'll be rolling PJ Washington over 23.5 points plus rebounds, -115. And Malcolm Brogdon, points, assists over 30.5, -106. Stu, long shot time. What are you rolling with?
I'm putting the odds together. Can you go first right here? I'm still
sure.
mind shopping a little bit, trying to get these odds up.
I got to make sure I spell his name right. All right. 15 plus Brogdon. And I believe DK will give me the best price. So I will be going with a guy I just told you about. I'm going Malcolm Brogdon, double-double. I'm going Naz Reid to score 15 points at plus 628.
Oh, okay.
I really like this spot. 180 on Brogdon on DraftKings. 160 for Naz Reid on DraftKings as well. On FanDuel, this is around 580, 588, I think it was. But I think the Pelicans get absolutely blown the fuck out. I think Naz Reid will get those garbage time minutes. I think he's going to give those extra. I think he's going to get those minutes. I think he's going to get a little extra run there. Also, he's been getting 24 minutes and getting to this number. Like he's very, very efficient. He points. I know not everybody cares about the fantasy points per minute, but this dude is elite fantasy points per minute. When he is out on the floor, he is involved immediately, right? So really like this spot, especially when you look at who he's probably going to be matching up with, right? You're obviously in your starter, seeing Joval out there, but I don't even know who their four is going to be tonight. Who's their backup four to the backup with no Zion, right? Their four, whoever they're going to start out there. I don't know who their third string four is. I don't even know. That's going to be the guy guarding Naz Reid. Yeah, the fact that we're laughing and can't name him off the top of our head should tell you enough, because we watch enough basketball. We pay attention way too close that this dude is going to be playing some. He's going to be playing some scrubs tonight. Oh my God! And you look at it. I wanted to mention this as well. He hit this number in 2 games that were blowouts already this year, in only 22 and 19 minutes. Right. So against Denver, they lost by 21. He had 16 points, and against Utah, they won by 28, and he had 16 points. So we've seen it in very limited capacity. He's been able to get there on very little playing time. And if anything pops up, or Towns, Gobert, anybody gets in foul trouble, I mean, this dude could be in for it, man. This guy could be getting a ton of run. And if I get, like I said, if I even get 25 minutes from Naz Reid, he is an elite play today at that spot. And Brogdon I just talked about. So that'll be what I'm going with. You're on mute there, buddy.
Sorry, I was going to say, I like this spot. You caught me off guard with the Naz Reid right there, but that guy's fun. He's another kind of DFS killer. Like, he's so efficient on a per-minute basis, and he has that benefit of playing the second unit minutes when it's close, and then, like you said, also kind of getting that blowout run where you can kind of get it in either game script, which is always nice. So, for me, I'm going to be rolling with the block party right here. The odds aren't sexy. I need to line shop, see if I can get something better right now, but we got Daniel Gafford, Evan Mobley, and JJJ to have 2 blocks each at plus 350, currently on DraftKings Sportsbook right now.
350?
Yep. Gafford, Mobley, and Jaren Jackson. Yep. All 3 of these guys a little bit juiced on their own. But it's coming together. I think it's a great matchup. But you guys know I bet a lot of blocks. I think JJJ is kind of the most obvious one down there, especially no Tillman. They're going to be asking him to do a lot. It's one of those things you can say, yeah, he needs to stay out of foul trouble. But guess what? He battles with foul trouble every single night. And 2 is the bare minimum for this guy. What I really like to target, if you go through this list, you'll notice it's just centers that attack the rim and teams that attack the rim heavily. So Evan Mobley, for example, got the Thunder. Shai is the most aggressive rim attacking point guard we have in the league right here. And then you couple that up with another guy down there in the paint with Chet that he's going to be squared off one-on-one against. There should be plenty of block opportunities for both sides. I actually kind of started out liking Chet, but his price is a little bit more juiced than I thought it would be. And Mobley's the more experienced guy. He has Allen as well, so he can operate as that help side defender rather than the primary defender, which is always nice. And then finally, Gafford. I think Gafford and Mark Williams are both going to have like 3 blocks tonight, so I might run a little same game parlay between those guys. Gafford is undersized, but he kills it, man. He's bouncy, he's athletic. It gets him in foul trouble sometimes, but the shot blocking is kind of all he has. So it's the centerpiece of his game. I believe 5 against Embiid, even in that game that Embiid absolutely destroyed in. So I'm not asking him to do good. And Mark Williams only attacks the paint right here. So love all 3 of these guys in very good matchups to get 2 blocks tonight.
Yeah, no, remember my question to you before we left last show on Wednesday or last Monday?
I do not remember.
What is Joel Embiid about to do to your Washington Wizards?
Oh, my God.
That was my points, rebounds, assist play on that. And I had so many people like, oh, this guy is he gonna play that much because they're gonna blow him out? I'm like, yeah, well, he got 48 on the Portland Trailblazers in 29 minutes. What is he gonna do to these guys?
Oh boy.
And lo and behold, 29 points in a quarter, going 100% from the field. That was fucking impressive.
And hey, even too, I had assists. He even cashed assist for me as well. Dude scored 30 points in a quarter on 100% shooting and still cashed his assist for me in that quarter. Yeah, I actually am glad you brought that up. I know you were obviously chirping me right there, but I bet on it because of it. You know, I was fully in NFL mode when we were doing that show. So you bringing that up, I think helped us cash some tickets. And yeah, oh boy, he absolutely destroyed us. That was I'm glad I was not watching that. I'm glad that was a box score game for me right there.
Yeah, it was the early game too. So hey, nobody wants to watch it anyway. So let's I don't think we need to yeah, we're good. We're good on those on the recap there. But yeah, I'm excited for this slate. There's a lot of games that are almost like completely cross-offs for me. So that makes this a little bit easier, but yeah, I think that we have everything here. Oh, I was gonna say we can't head out before Terrence drops this for us. We have our mega parlay at 30, almost 32-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook, which I think is a fantastic price. JJJ's is automatic at this point. Yeah, I think that it almost helps that Jared Allen is back, you know, so that means that the side comes off and you get the guys there. Which ones did you cross off?
That fucking sorry, I was gonna say that Pistons game, by the way, but
yeah. The games that we cross off, like the games that we didn't talk about for obvious reasons, like Clippers Brooklyn, right? That's like a cross off game because why would I want to bet on any single Clipper? Maybe I'll bet on Ben Simmons. I did bet on Ben Simmons rebounds, but
I've got one. I like Harden today. I thought about Harden for the show. The volume was good in game 1. He was playing pretty good. And then obviously, the more important part, we got revenge, baby. Come on. You know what? Revenge? I mean, if the volume was shit in game 1, then I probably wouldn't be saying this, but he looked fine in game 1. I had Russ under, so I was watching that game, and that was easy as hell. He went off ball. Harden was back to being Harden. So I don't see why he wouldn't cash that. I know the obvious reason is the Nets defense is really fucking good. That's why individually, they have some cohesion problems. Don't get me wrong, but the individual talent on that defense is so insane. It's unfair. They've got extra parts. They don't even use all of them. Royce O'Neal could go somewhere else and be a starter. All these guys, DFS. So it's one of those things. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I thought about Harden though. I still might get to him in some capacity, just probably not like a ladder or anything like that.
Yeah, and then another cross off for me would be like the Bulls Suns. Like there's nothing in that game I want to bet because you're gonna have to wait till 5 minutes before tip to find out Beal's playing. Then I get 28 minutes of Beal, who's not going to hit any of his props. Going to take away enough usage from KD to miss all of his props. Yusuf Nurkic loses his usage. How much props are going down on that? And then I don't want to touch Vucevic against Nurk. I don't want to go against Levine, who's going to be running around with all these dudes and probably going to have to guard Bradley Beal. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like there's a lot of these games where it's like you don't even need to really dive in or unless you get an injury. right? So like that Toronto-Dallas game, I need an injury in that for me to want to bet anything in that game, right? Because the usage rate for Kyrie and Luka are so high. You can't bet on really anybody else in there. Toronto's getting pressure to Chua back. So there goes all my Pirtle lines. So it's like there's a lot of those games where it's like they're not optimal. They're not looking like a high level guy, or like their lines aren't value yet. So it's like I need some injuries and I need some value.
Yeah, no, it's kind of. I don't want to get into it too much, obviously, because we already did talk about all the games we do like, which is kind of the more fun part of the slate. But it's just sometimes you got to be a little bit picky, and obviously, there's no way anyone, especially we do this for a freaking living, and we still have a hard time getting through 14 game slates at the capacity we want to. Obviously, a lot of you guys definitely don't have the time to do that. So I think it's just a good habit to get into. Of like, yeah, the FOMO is always going to be there, but at the end of the day, you can't watch all these games. It's not possible. It's not like you're going to be sitting there, watching it. So might as well cross it off, be a little bit, easy with the X and keep it moving, because that's what I do. And it's helped me a lot over these last couple of years.
For sure. Stu, what do you got for the people here before we head off today? Obviously a little quicker show. Hopefully I'll feel a little bit better for Friday and we'll be ready for the NFL.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously still probably going to have some action over on Twitter on the timelines. Make sure you're going and following over there. Hey, make sure, remember my guy, Matt Ryan, okay? No long shots up right now, but not the football player, the basketball player. It's a good look tonight. That's all I'm saying. When those long shots come up, hopefully you guys join me in betting on another ambiguous white guy with a basic name that will maybe shoot some threes, because that is definitely what he does out there. So excited for today's slate. They put us in a temporary day off yesterday, but we're back. We got a lot of action tonight, a lot of great stuff. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. Obviously, we spend all day doing this. We love to talk about it. So if you're curious about our thoughts on players, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We're not live anymore, but we're still here. Same goes for Twitter, Discord, all that. So continue to tap in, leave a like, subscribe, and let's keep cashing some tickets, baby.
For sure. 35 you guys in here live. Hit that like button on your way out if you could. And that subscribe. We'll be back on Friday. Possible guests for Friday, so make sure you stay in tune there. And yeah, we'll be right back at it. Just dropped an article right before the show as well, so that'll be out for that too. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. And remember, you don't have to bet on every single one of these games. There's 14 games. Be picky, find your spots, and let's make some money. So have a good one, guys, and we'll see you Friday.